Yep, guys, it's finally time to do a comparison between the NECA Godzilla and the S.H.Monsterarts Godzilla 2019. Now, if you have the NECA version, right, you never had a glimpse into what the Monster Arts offers you, then you'll definitely think it's a perfect figure. You'll say, wow, NECA definitely did a fantastic job in terms of color, details, articulation, and overall design, right? You'll think that it is perfect. You saw the movie, you won't find any flaws. You think that the spikes look exactly or almost on par to the movie version. And that's not to say that NECA is overall a bad figure or anything, because my first impressions getting the NECA version was wow. They definitely did an improvement from the 2014 to the 2019 version. It's definitely without a doubt an overall improvement in every single way that you can possibly think of. And you'll say, okay, how bad can this figure be compared to the Monster Arts, right? The only bad thing that I could say about the NECA right now is it has derpy eyes, and other than that, this figure is fantastic. It's a good figure for your budget. So right now on screen, you're looking at his dorsal plates, and that's something that I really love about this Godzilla is that they look really good. But when you compare the NECA version to the Monster Arts, you start to notice a lot of flaws once you get your hands on the Monster Arts version, because you start to say, okay, which figure is the best between both of them, right? You start to notice a lot of changes in terms of dorsal plates, tail, color, detail, articulation, how accurate the figure looks. And look, I'm not here to bash on the other companies or anything on NECA. Both figures did a fantastic job without a doubt, but as soon as you start to compare both of them, right, you have both in hand, that's when you start to notice that one of them is inaccurate. It has a lot of flaws, and that one would be the NECA version. Taking a look at the Monster Arts version, his dorsal plates are on place. They look correct, not too big, not too small. They're just perfectly just like in the movie. The brand new head sculpture looks fantastic. It's a lot smaller than the 2014. He's rocking new feet and claws. Those are my favorite. They just look so mean, like they can actually do damage, as I told you in my review. One of my favorite parts from the Monster Arts is looking at him from the front view. Like, for some reason I always get reminded that that's the 2019 version from the trailers, from the movie. It just looks like him from every single angle. And like I told you, that's something that a lot of companies struggle to even accomplish with other figures in terms of monsters, maybe Marvel characters, whatever, right? Any type of figure, it's always hard to get every single angle correct. It's either the front or the back, the sides, whatever, right? But here you have both the Monster Arts and the NECA version. Hopefully you guys get a good idea of the differences between both of them. You can definitely see differences in terms of color, dorsal plates, size, articulation. I think if you're going with accuracy and you care about size and the way that your figure looks to the movie, I gotta say that the Monster Arts would be the one for you. But if you don't really care and you don't have enough money, NECA is perfect just for you, because it's really good. Just because it's a lower end figure does not mean it's bad. The only problem is that he has derpy eyes. So yes, that's a quality issue that they would have, and if they were able to perfect that, this figure would be close to perfect, if not perfect. And both figures this time around did a better job than their counterparts with the 2014 version. The 2014 version for the Monster Arts was inaccurate. The articulation was so-so. I had a lot of loose ball joints, a lot of problems, right? Super derpy, messy teeth. But this time around, they came back stronger to improve. They actually added more things, and both of them look fantastic. Now you can see already in terms of dorsal plates, NECA appears to have much longer and thicker dorsal plates, more colorful, more details on it, and that's because NECA decided to went with a black over a gray and maybe a slight hint of greenish and brownish wash to them. That's why it makes a lot of details pop out versus the Monster Arts. The Monster Arts I believe, is rocking a full-on black with a brownish on his chest, but you don't notice the brown that much unless that you take him outside or maybe you have good lighting. You'll notice more colors, but other than that, those are the differences that I see in terms of colors and dorsal plates. It depends which one you like. One of them appears to have slight differences in terms of details, like on his head. The NECA version has a more lizard type of alligator, while the other one, the Monster Arts, appears to have a more rock type details on all over his body, not just his head, but all over his body. The dorsal plates, like I told you, on the Monster Arts, they're shorter. I think they look more accurate, you know. Now, in terms of size, I noticed that the Monster Arts is a little bit taller than the NECA version, and in terms of spikes, right? For some reason, the NECA version reminds me of the Godzilla 2000 because he just has way longer spikes, and when you're looking at the Monster Arts version, his spikes look way smaller. But I do know that the Monster Arts is going for accuracy, and I noticed a lot of people were actually complaining about the NECA dorsal plates. In my comments a few months ago, I remember a lot of people were saying, I just don't like the neck piece from NECA. I noticed that his first dorsal plate is way too long, too thick. Even the second one, you guys can see that the second and first dorsal plate, they're way bigger than the Monster Arts. And I don't know, for some reason I personally like the Monster Arts, but in terms of details and color, the NECA version, I love them so much because it just makes the overall details. You can see like these small lines that look like rocks on the NECA version a lot more than the Monster Arts, and that's something that I do like. And in terms of neck piece, I don't know, I like both of them. I know that the Monster Arts is more accurate, but the brand new piece on the NECA version, it looks unique, it looks fresh. It's something that I also do love. I don't know, guys, it's very hard to decide on which figure you guys want or like, or which figure you want to buy. The Monster Arts could go from $79 to $100 shipped. In terms of articulation, and yes, the Monster Arts definitely wins. You get more articulation. Now, in terms of price with the NECA version, it's going for $24.99 plus shipping, maybe $30 or more. It depends where you live. But this time around, the Monster Arts version has accessories. You get a atomic blast or atomic breath. You get one extra mouthpiece which actually comes with him. You can change that to put the mouthpiece and recreate the scene from the 2019 version. Now this is the piece that you get right here. They're not going with these stands anymore. That's something from the past, and they're trying to do something new right here, something fresh to keep people motivated and not have you put the stands and have messy scenes. Now, in terms of articulation, just look at that. You can actually look all the way up with the Monster Arts, just like in the movie and poster. The NECA sadly cannot do that. I'm trying to put both of them in the same pose. You can see that the Monster Arts achieves more poses than the NECA version. That's not to say that it doesn't have any articulation, because this time around, I told you, both of them are improvements from their past. The NECA version has a full-on articulated tail, and so does the Monster Arts version. But I noticed something. While the Monster Arts may have more ball joints on the tail, it's very stiff, or I just don't have enough movement like the NECA version. For some reason, the NECA version just feels more fluid. It feels like the tail is actually alive. You can actually pose the tail even more than the Monster Arts. This could be just my figures. Your figure could be more poseable. It just depends what type of figure you get. Now, the other thing that I noticed, the NECA version is more hunched over, while the Monster Arts, you can actually hunch him over or make him stand super straight up. I'm trying to do the same poses for both of the figures so you can actually see how they can achieve their own poses and how they look stacked up with each other. Now, I personally love both figures. I think both figures have their ups and their downs. I'm not here to trash any, so it's up to you which figure you want. I don't want to influence you with my personal opinion on which figure you want to get. It's your decision, it's your money. The choice is yours. You take it, not me, but I personally love both. Make sure to comment and subscribe and hit the bell notification to always stay on top of the game.